I wish there was a Tinder for disabled people. Because me personally, like, I feel like there are a lot of bad bitches who have disabilities. And not like fake disabilities, like dyslexia or autism, like real shit, like being deaf or blind or missing an arm or something. And I feel like especially a lot of those people, they're not they're considered damaged goods to a lot of people. I feel like which is just so fucked up. I would treat them right, and then I would fuck the shit out of them. I also feel like if I had a girlfriend who was like deaf or blind or mute or something, I feel like a lot of arguments would be a lot easier. Like a lot of marital troubles would not be a problem. Like if they're mute, like you just close your eyes and like what are they gonna do? They can't like you're in a heated argument, you know, you're wondering whether or not you should go to Chick-fil-A or Popeyes. The fight starts heating up, it starts getting, you know, maybe even violent or something, you know? Okay, maybe not violent because you can't really close your eyes to violence, but you're getting heated, and the only way you're arguing with this person is either through sign language or a notepad, and you just close your eyes, and like what are they gonna do? You know what I mean? I guess they could try to use push to talk, but fuck them. You can just leave, I guess, but you can do that. You can do that anyway. Okay. All right, push to talk's the counter, but just don't tell them about push to talk or not push to talk, text to speech, and then for a deaf girl, I mean. Low-key, the same thing. I mean, deaf people can talk, but usually if you're a good deaf boyfriend slash girlfriend, you usually learn sign language for your partner. It's kind of like a polite thing to do. And then blind girls is great, because you don't ever have to be, like, self-conscious about them, like, thinking you're ugly, or them looking at other people. The only real problem is if they think, like, you're an ugly person. Like, if you're ugly on the inside, but that's okay. You can just like change your voice and you got like multiple chances, you know what I mean? Unless you get to a stage where if at one point you get to a stage where you meet her parents or something, then you're kind of fucked because her parents are obviously going to recognize you. You could blind her parents. You could just keep every significantly important person in their life, you could just keep continuously blinding them until your entire inside of the in-laws are just all none of them can see. For people who don't have limbs, they're just normal people who like can't hold a pot of pasta by themselves or something. I don't know. If they don't have an arm. If they don't have a leg, it's, you know, the wheelchair meta is crazy, I guess, but I feel like amputees aren't really part of wheelchair gang, huh? They're mostly people with prostheses. I feel like disabled people would be willing to let you do more. You know what I mean? I don't know if anyone else has ever had this. I'm gonna pour my heart out to you guys for a second because I feel like we're close, you know, and I trust you guys. But there have been times, okay, and this is between me and you, okay? There have been times where I'll see pictures of people, specifically girls, and I'll see a picture of their eyes, and I'll be like, man, I want to have sex with their eye socket. It's like, it's not based on any logic or like actual realistic possibility, but just there's this visceral, like primitive desire to want to put my penis in their eye socket. It's only happened like once or twice in my life, but it has happened. And I'm not gonna shy away from these feelings necessarily. And perhaps a blind girl is the way to go about it. I remember I got into an argument with some people because when we were talking about what skull fucking means, which is a pretty effortless segue. And I was always of the opinion that skull fuck meant to fuck their eye socket. Because that's like the skull to me, right? But I got into an argument with this guy who was like, no, skull fucking is actually like their mouth and like throat. And I'm like, no, because then you would say throat fucking, not skull fucking. And I might go even further to say that the jaw slash mandible, because I got a degree in this shit, is like arguably not necessarily the skull, because it's a whole separate unit. I might argue that the skull is like the top part, not your jaw. And we never really came to an agreement. But I think that perhaps maybe my preference to fuck somebody's the reason I think of skull fucking as fucking somebody's eye socket is maybe because of the dreams I've had of fucking somebody in the eye socket. And it's like, I know what's in there, too. That's like I've seen an eye socket in, like, just about every way you can see it, with, like, peeled flesh. I mean, I've seen it normally with an eye in it. I've seen it without an eye in it. I've seen it without skin, without fat. I've seen it just as bone. And logistically, there's nothing redeeming about having sex with an eye socket. It's like, it's barely a canal. The only canal or whatever, the only, like, aside from the actual divot that your eye rests in, the only thing that you could go even further through is, like, the optic nerve. And, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my erections are not hard enough to fucking shatter somebody's skull. No matter how hard I thrust. You know, I think me personally, I think when it comes to my rock hard shaft and somebody's literal fucking skull, I think I lose that one, no matter how many Alex Jones penis enlargement supplements I take. Plus, I feel like people with disabilities have good senses of humor, you know? You kind of have to. There's two types of people with disabilities, okay? In my humble opinion. There's, like, the crotchety, like, oh, I wish I never got in that car. Like, they sit there and regret and lament and just rot out of anger in their home. And then there's, like, the, oh, my disability made me stronger, good sense of humor, like, outgoing, charismatic type of person, you know? And I imagine people who are going to be on my disabled Tinder, which I guess naturally I have to announce. I'm gonna find a computer scientist out there, and he's gonna make it for me if it's not already out there. And I feel like the people who are on my disabled Tinder are gonna be the charismatic, outgoing type. Though this does raise the question of, do people with disabilities want to date other people with disabilities? Do they together combine into one fully functioning person? or maybe a person and a half in terms of functionality? That'd be cute, right? Like, let's say you're missing your left arm and your partner's missing their right arm, and together you can easily carry a big bowl of pasta water or something. Or a big pot of pasta water. That's goals. That's couples goals for sure. Or maybe I'll just, maybe the dating app will just be for me. Like, anytime, if you're a guy and you hop on the dating site, it just instantly bans your account. And if you're a girl, you only get matched with me. Yeah, this is really coming together. I'm gonna figure this out.